Hello, my name is Darlinda McTuck, and today we're going to talk a little bit about some tips and strategies for Chromebooks. Now, if you notice, you can see a picture of me there. You can see my name here in print, Darlinda McTuck, and my email, dmctuck@e1b.org. So I'm going to go ahead and take this little video full screen. What are Chromebooks? And I'm going to go ahead and just play this introductory video. That was just a quick little overview there of a Chromebook. Just gave you a quick idea of how a Chromebook can easily be used. So if you're in a school, for example, where you're one-to-one Chromebooks, notice they did show you could have multiple users signing in on a Chromebook, but even though multiple users sign in, notice they had separate places to sign in, and they could also be removed. All right, now this video right here actually has the top 5 Chromebook tips most people don't know. So let me just take this to full screen. Make sure it's at the beginning, hit play.
Well, here it comes, folks. These are the top 5 tips I have for dealing with a Chromebook that most people don't know about. Okay, so the first neat little trick that I'm going to show you today is dealing with your tabs here to break them up into separate windows. I can simply take this tab that I'm currently working on, and if I click it and drag it down, it pulls it away and creates it as a brand new window. So now, if I minimize this, you can see that I have my other tab in a separate window altogether. Now, if I minimize both of these, I have these sort of small on my screen now. There's a couple of things that I can do in an effort to multitask here. If I drag this one over and I actually touch the edge of the window, you can see this sort of shadow that comes up. And if I unclick that, it locks it into that half of the screen. Now I can go ahead and do that to this other side as well. And this one here has gotten skinnier so that I can have 3 separate windows open, or I could literally drag this across to make it go half and half. This can also be done on the keyboard as well. So if I select this tab here, by pressing on the keyboard, Alt, and then the bracket, we can lock it in halfway. So again, either way that you wanted to do that with the mouse to click and drag to the side, or Alt and brackets will move it across from side to side. That way you can have multiple things open and multitask while you're working on things. Let me maximize this window to show you our next little trick. This one is absolutely awesome. Keyboard, Control plus F. I want you to notice that there's a little box that's shown up here. What this is a search bar that I can search text on a web page. So let's say, for example, I type in mastery. And if we scroll up a little bit, you can see right here that mastery has been highlighted. Now, something to note about this, though, is it does not search images. It searches plain text. As you can see clearly above it, it says Mastery Manager. And because this is an image, it is not able to locate this. But this here as plain text, it is able to identify and find it. If we bring that all the way back to just the letter M, look at what happens there. Okay, so a search window can be open for any web page, and it will literally search any plain text that's in that web page. Neat little trick. All right, so now let's talk about our systems and display. If you would like to access the files that are located on your Chromebook quickly and easily, keyboard shortcut, Alt, Shift, and M. And what this is going to do then, it's going to open up our Files app. It's things that are stored locally on the device. So if you need to access screenshots you've taken or any other files that you've downloaded to this, that keyboard's shortcut is called Alt-Shift-M, and it opens up the Files app. Here's another good one for you. You ever find it where you had to walk away from your Chromebook for a few minutes and you didn't want to leave it unattended? Keyboard shortcut is Control-Shift-L. And I have now just locked my screen. What's crazy about that, though, you see my locked screen, but I know you can still see me. How's it going? My screen is locked. Nobody can mess with this if I walk away from it. Well, let's sign back in and give you the last tip. So here's the last tip, and it is a bit meta. That's right, M-E-T-A. It's a bit meta. The keyboard shortcut is Control, Alt, and the question mark. Now you can see on the screen it brings up a keyboard. In fact, what this one does, this keyboard shortcut gives you access to all keyboard shortcuts. I'm currently pressing the Shift button down. You can see that button is highlighted on the keyboard here, and then it highlights what that button will do in combination with other buttons when they're pressed. If I press Control, look at all of the different keyboard shortcuts that I can access by pressing the Control button or the Alt button. And when you're sick of looking at these keyboard shortcuts, you can press Escape and it will take that all away. And there it was. My top 5 tips on dealing with Chromebooks that most people don't know about. How to set up your windows to be able to multitask. How to search through plain text on web pages. How to open up the Files app quickly and easily. How to lock your screen if you've ever got to walk away from it. And of course, how to access all keyboard shortcuts. I hope that helps you in dealing with your Chromebooks. Thank you for joining me.
Okay, so that was a quick little video that gave us, five tips for your Chromebook you may not have known. Now, what you're seeing here is a Google Doc that I will actually include a link for you, and it will be called Chromebook Tips and Help. Now, you can see there's some directions here. It basically tells you there's a list of 6 different functions. Notice the 6 functions right here. Change or customize the desktop wallpaper. The desktop wallpaper, of course, is what you're seeing right there. That's the wallpaper. Also, I also wanted to mention he gave you a keyboard shortcut for getting to the Files app. Also know that down here, this is called a shelf. So I actually put that down here in my shelf so that I could just quickly open that. And how do you get something down in the shelf? Well, you click on the launcher here. And when you click on the launcher, notice you see some of my apps because it's the app launcher. But now you can see all my apps. But any of the apps you see here, if you right click, and please understand that right clicking on a Chromebook is you have to press 2 fingers on the mouse pad or the touchpad because notice it says unpin from shelf. Now, if it's not pinned in my shelf and I open this up, so let's say it's not pinned in there. So for example, I don't see Google Docs pinned there. If I did the right click by pressing with 2 fingers, notice it says pin to shelf, and now you can see it's pinned down here. So, again, remember, you can certainly use that keyboard shortcut that he showed you, which was nice. Or you can also go to Apps Launcher, put your most frequent apps down here. And also, if you wanted to remove them from the shelf, you could just right-click. Whoops, I meant to right-click. I did not right-click. Got to do the 2 fingers there. Notice when I do the 2 fingers, I can actually unpin that. Okay, so again, this is your shelf. And also, if you right click within that shelf, notice you can even change the position of this. I can put it on the left. Okay, so if I right click, remember 2 fingers, I can, take it back to the bottom. Okay, all right, so there's just a couple quick tips about the shelves. I'm going to go back to Google Chrome here. All right. So we were on this Chromebook tips and help sheet. So again, here are the 6 different functions. I was showing you the wallpaper, how to customize your Chromebook desktop. And I just showed you some of that. That was down here with the shelf. I showed you how you could easily right click on it, pin, unpin, change the shelf position. You can even make it auto hide. Notice set wallpapers even in there. So again, I showed you that. Use your Chromebook keyboard. Some of those shortcuts he was showing you, how you can take a photo, how you can sign in multiple people at the same time. And here's some tips for actually working offline. Notice number 7 is actually a help center. So if I click on number 7, I actually get to a Chromebook help center. So again, this is, giving you some different tips on your Chromebook, how you can personalize it. Okay, already showed you some of that with wallpaper, the shelf, how to work with photos. Okay, printing is usually a big question. Understand that with printing, you have to have a printer that will Google print. So again, your school may or may not have that set up. So again, that's a question you would have to ask your tech people as far as printing with your Chromebook, what they're planning on doing there. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is, here's the big question. What's the difference between a Chrome app, extension, and theme? So what you're seeing right now, I'm on my Chromebook and I'm in Google Chrome. So a Chrome app, which we've already mentioned, down here is the app launcher. So all of these are apps. Okay, so an app is a standalone application, just as you would see for example, on your smartphone. For example, if you wanted to send somebody a text message, you'd go to the message app. If you want to search, the internet, you would go onto your internet app. So again, an app is a standalone application on a smartphone, same thing in your Google Chrome. Now, an extension is a little bit different. An extension is up here. You can see I have a whole row of extensions up here. And again, it just depends on, what you need as far as a Chrome extension. You can see I have a split your screen, but he also showed you a keyboard shortcut. This is one of my favorite Chrome extensions. Oh, by the way, a definition for a Chrome extension is it extends the functioning of your Google Chrome browser. So if I click on this Chrome extension, notice I can easily start any one of these types of Google Docs, and I can also get to the template galleries. And even if I opened up a new document, for example, notice that this is in my Google Drive. So it just easily opens that up for me. Okay, I have a Pinterest extension. So if I'm on some kind of website and I want to save it to Pinterest, I can. If I want to share it to some other kind of social media, such as Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn. For example, if I click on Twitter, it'll easily set this up where I can go ahead and just, tweet that out. Let me just add just a couple of tags here. All right, tweet that out. So again, I can easily tweet that out. This also is another one of my favorites. It's called Print Friendly and PDF. So for example, let's say I wanted to print this website that has this information. What I can actually do is when I bring this up, I can actually choose to delete out any of that big picture right there. I mean, sometimes there's multiple pictures, but that way when I go to print, I don't have to waste ink on the pictures that I don't need. I could also save it as a PDF. Okay, and that's called Print Friendly and PDF. This one is called Cite This for me. So again, if I wanted to cite this website, I can even choose, whatever my platform is, or not my platform, whatever, type of citing I'm using, such as APA formatting, Chicago formatting, Harvard, MLA, and then I can just copy and paste that. Okay. And right now too, what I'm using to actually record my screen as I record this is actually an extension called Screencastify. Grammarly is great because it it comes in as a spell checker and a grammar checker. If you're a Google Classroom person, you want this add to Google Classroom, because what I can actually do if I click on that, I can just go ahead and add that right into my Google Classroom. Okay, here's Bitmoji as an extension. Bitmoji are all those little fun avatars, but you make the avatar look like yourself, and you're able to get those and copy and paste those in or save those as images. So again, there's so many different things. Now, how do you know what extensions you need? So if I go where, actually not if I go, where I need to go is the web store. So notice down here, I have it in my taskbar. Excuse me, that's on a PC. I have it on my shelf because I'm on a Chromebook. If I go to App Launcher, I have it in my shelf. You may not. So you'd come in here and find it and open it that way. I'll just go ahead and open it. And when I open it, what you'll notice is it actually searches for extensions, themes, and apps. So apps I already defined as a standalone application, such as you would see on your smartphone. Themes actually just changes how your Google Chrome looks, and then an extension extends the functioning of the Google Chrome. So again, let's say maybe I wanted to see if there was some kind of calculator, so I can search for that. And notice there's multiple extensions. And if I go to add one, I click on add to Chrome. I can just say add the extension, and it's added right into my Chrome. So if I click on that, now I go ahead, it's just telling me a little bit about it. But then again, not only is it telling me a little bit about it, but also this is the calculator. Kind of cool. It actually looks like a calculator. So 7 times 8 equals. So again, you can find different calculators on there. It just depends on, what you're trying to do. And also, if you ever wanted to remove one, you could right click. Remember, 2 little finger taps. Say remove from Chrome. Say remove, and it's gone. Okay. So again, those are Google Apps, extensions, and themes. And all of those you may get by actually going into the web store. So again, mine's right here on the shelf. You may have to go to the app launcher. So notice when you open it, you clearly see over here on the left-hand side that it searches for extensions, themes, and apps. Now, I'll make sure there's a link to this website because this one's nice. It goes down through. It tells you what each one is. It tells you how to find them, how to install them. So I'll make sure that's in there. There's also going to be this website for Google Chrome Help Center. Again, this will give you some ideas for, help with Google Chrome. And then the last place that I want to go for working with Chromebooks is to Kathy Schrock's Guide to Everything website, but this is specifically for Chromebooks in the classroom. So she points out some books on Chromebooks. She also, here's like some things about what is a Chromebook. Here's some tutorials. Here's some different schools and how they've used Chromebooks. Here's some websites for informational Chromebook sites. Here's some blog posts about them. All right, some G Suite resources. So again, this is a comprehensive resource for you to see for Chromebooks. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go to tab here. I'm going to get a new document, and I'm going to mention some names here. Once this opens, again, I use that extension where I just quickly opened up a Google Doc. So now that it's in here, I'm going to make my text a little bit bigger. Bigger than that, a little bit, but I'm going to go to 48. Now, there are some gurus for Google, so I'm just going to go Alice Keeler. Whoops. Casey Bell. Eric Kurtz. And Matt Miller. Now, Matt Miller, you may also know as the Ditch the Textbook guy, but again, Alice Keeler, Casey Bell, Eric Kurtz, Matt Miller, and I'll include all of their websites in the resources. So again, these are definitely Google gurus. So gurus. All right, so there you go. So again, thank you for spending a little bit of time with me as we learned about Chromebooks and some tips for that. I'm just going to go back into my Google Drive for a second here. I'm going to go back to my recent section because not shared with me. I wanted recent because I just want to bring back up that opening slide that I had right here. Because again, I just want to remind you of who I am and my email for contacting me. So again, there I am, Darlinda McTuck, email dmctuck@e1b.org.